Okay, so this is a unique and epic property. I've got an island on the Cowlitz River here in Lewis County, Washington. This is between Randall and Packwood, a world-class area, right? For those watching this video, I'm sure you're familiar with it. This is purely recreational property. It's got a really interesting story to it, actually, that I'm going to get to. In this video, I'm going to talk about what is this property, what do I know about it, how can I access it, and things like that. So what we do here at Wilco Land, we specialize in raw vacant land. We try and say unique and epic properties is our focus. So creating visibility to it, we offer more of a self-service model. Properties like this are almost impossible to value. We're always open to working with you on a price if the property's right for you. We do offer seller financing as well. But getting to it, here it is. Here's the island on the Cowlitz River. And before I even get too much into it, I do want to talk about the history of this property. So we can see some photos here, and I'll get to Google Earth in a second. That's going to be the meat and potatoes of this video. Technically, according to the county, this is a 10-acre lot. I'll measure it out for you to give you an idea of what we do have. But again, here's the island here in the Cowlitz. And let me just jump right into it and show you what we got. So I've got it pulled up on Google Earth. The most interesting thing that I see here, so we've got this vegetation in the center. Check this out before I get into this. Look at the history of this property. So going back in time, this was actually created. This is the river. Let me go one more gap here. So this is 1993 on satellite imagery. Check it out. This is 10 acres of land with the Cowlitz River running, riverfront property, right? Look at the time lapse here. Somebody builds like a little cabin on it, right? And the river has started to shift. Look at that. Shifted north back in 2003. So in 2005, right? Not a lot of change. The river continues to head north a little bit. 06, we're in 06. Whoa. And then 3 years later in 2009, look at the way the river changes. And so this guy still has like a home on the property. Isn't that wild? So you've got road access, you've got riverfront property back in 2009, as early as that. You can still see his little house there. And then in about 2011 is really where you kind of lose what you had. And this island starts to get created. You can see it was probably river rock and sand. And then over the last 10, 12 years, we can see over time the vegetation, the river staying pretty similar. We see vegetation starting to grow on the property. And we see the river continue to shift. Continue to head north. So this person's property is about gone, I'm assuming. So, who knows what's happening there. But yeah, that's about underwater by this time. So you can see that's kind of being overtaken there too. But look at the change. Look at how big this island is now becoming, right? So the river continued to head north and then it split south. So you've got this island in the river. I don't know, the vegetation probably marks high ground. So like what? Let's see. I'm just getting a space here, measurements. This is about, let's see if I can go acres. Measurements. Okay, so we've got a line. I've got to draw a polygon. This is what I'm looking for. So I'm looking to just identify, how much acreage is in the middle of this property that could be quote unquote usable for recreation, fishing, camping, maybe building some sort of off-grid little structure that you're not too worried about, obviously. Let's look at the acreage here. So, 4 or 5 acres. If we add this in here, let's see what that looks like. You add that in there. You add 4.5 acres, 5 acres of maybe usable space here. So again, in reality, I don't know what it looks like. What happens over time in the next 20, 30 years? Is this a really cool island? Is there access from land? Look at the landscape has changed so much. You could speculate that in your kids' lifetime and their generation, this could be a totally different property. I don't know. The location itself, like I said, between Packwood and Randall, right next to Cora Bridge, if you guys are familiar with that. The location's epic. It's world class. What's it worth? It's hard to know, but really a unique and cool property. So for those that are going to visit this, I'm assuming you can access a property right off the bridge. Otherwise, use an app like Onyx Maps. Use the GPS coordinates. I've got the acreage. I've got the county parcel ID. You can look it up there. Obviously, zoning is not going to matter much here. It's part of it's like River Ranch Run HOA. They don't charge any HOAs for this lot just because it's in the river. They've kind of, let go of it essentially. I forget what that HOA is. I think we have their website right here. It's a River Ranch Run. So technically it used to be accessed from this HOA. But yeah, they don't charge dues for this property. It's kind of, we can see there's not a ton of use to it besides recreation or investment, long-term investment in this area. If you are going to use GPS coordinates to access it, you're going to want to use an app like Onyx Maps, for example. I'm assuming the folks that are going to go look at this or buy this have some sort of familiarity with using apps like this, Landglide, Acres, Onyx Maps, things like that. You have some backcountry awareness. So again, I just pulled it up using the coordinates here. Again, this River Ranch Road used to run down through here. Could you build a bridge? Probably not. But technically, this was all platted out to have road access at one point in time. Mother Nature had a different plan for it. So again, you're looking at river access. If you're on Onyx Maps, they have like public access points. You can see national forest, BLM lands, river access and things like that. So again, Miles McLaughlin here with Wilco Land. I do have other properties out in Washington. A lot of them are going to be, like I said, categorized as unique and epic. Stevens Pass is the area. I have a handful of properties as well right now. So just get with me if you're interested in something. 605-250-1256. Thanks for tuning in.